Hi guys, it's Whole 3 Willie here. Today we're joined with Jaybone. How are you, Jaybone?
Hey Willie, what's happening?
I'm good. We're having some technical difficulties, but hopefully we've sorted this time. Um,
That happens, man. That happens. Hey, it looks like there's already someone in the chat. That's refreshing. What's up, Ronnie?
hey, it's working.
It's working. I'm watching the test feed. It's working.
Yay. Welcome.
Getting the bugs out.
It's not showing up for me. I can't even watch myself. What the hell? Uh, let me see something. I'm sorry about this, guys.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ronnie says it's working. Yeah, and you sound fine. I just checked your audio.
okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, I can actually see it now. Okay,
There you go. Yeah,
so
sometimes it takes a while for for it
so
to pop up on
let's get
the
this
screen.
going. So All Elite Wrestling. If you was the person in charge, what superstars would you want in the company? Straight away.
Um, yeah, that's a tough one, man. I mean, this there's so many companies now going after so many people. Ronnie in the chat said, "I'd like to see Nikki Bella and AEW."
That's a
That's
wish. That is a wish right there. I would love
that's
to see her in. Uh, I don't know what they would call it. The Dynamite Arena, maybe. I don't know. But
I don't think Nikki Bella would ever do that. I think she'd unless she was, I mean, everybody's got a, like the $1 million man says, everyone's got a price. But I would like to think that even if, the Bellas are not my cup of tea, I would think that they would stay true to Vinnie Mac because that's where they got their start. But um, I'd say if you want to go tag teams, I would say the Lucha Brothers. But if you're going for like a big name to turn heads right off the bat, I would go after CM Punk.
CM Punk will be a game changer. The only reason is that he's a big name. But the only issue with CM Punk, J-Bone, is I think he's kind of gonna be rusty for the first few months of returning to the ring, because I don't think he's as good as he used to be, and he's getting old. And UFC or whatever it's called took a toll on him, and he looks like he's kind of not in as good shape as he was when he was in the WWE.
Well, I know he lost a lot of weight. We know that. But I've seen a lot of pictures of what he looked like when he did the meet and greet in Chicago the weekend of All In. And he looked, I mean, you always put on a pretty face for photo shoots. I mean, I think most guys do. Excuse me. But I mean, he looked happy and he looked healthy. He looked good. It was a little hard to tell as far as like body size. I don't think he looked sickly or anything, but there is, if he wanted to get back into wrestling, if this is his last shot, and honestly, I'll be honest, I think there is a timetable here. He's been away from professional wrestling for 5 years. If he's going to do it, this is his last shot, and I honestly think this is going to be his best one.
I
Ronnie,
definitely agree with you. This is going to be his last shot, and I think he would want to go out there and perform to the standard he likes, and I think he is going to take it a lot easier. I don't think he wants to get hurt because, you know, the whole situation in WE.
oh yeah,
so he would be a little bit careful.
Well, and I think in trusting who he's working with, if something did come up, he knows that he's just all around in a better place. As far as, you know, if something did happen, the Bucks and Cody and the Khans aren't going to be like, well, come on, you know, we're gonna push you through 300 more dates of TV before, you know, we get this looked at, whatever the issue is. You know, he doesn't have to worry about that, and he's smarter. I think he's more confident now. He's, you know, he's in a different headspace completely. You know,
yeah,
completely working with. He's going to trust who he's with. Period. You know.
One question was in the chat was, is Jericho going to be there? Drink it in, baby. Yes, he will.
Yeah, he was the big reveal at the rally.
The next person I want to see, but I also don't want to see. A lot of people are talking about him. Is Enzo Amore? What do you think about that?
I've been a fan of Enzo for a while now. In fact, I even like a little bit of his rapping, believe it or not. I don't like a lot of it. I'm more of a hard rock heavy metal guy, but as far as him getting in the ring again, I don't know. I gotta think that even though he's free and clear of all the charges he was accused of last year, I gotta think that there's not going to be too many companies out there that are going to take a chance on him. I know one did in New York. He is a New Yorker, as far as I know.
I've heard that. I've heard he's wrestling, but just for like one-off appearance. But the kind of guy he is, he needs to, if he gets an opportunity at All Elite Wrestling, he needs to go there, stay on the low, don't talk to anybody. But he's a character, he likes to talk, he likes to run his mouth. But he needs to try and take a backstage, what you call it?
You mean like go and humble?
Yeah, and not say too much. And if he's not happy, he should just tell him he's not happy. But I think he just needs to relax. And if it does come to him coming to the company, I think he needs to go in there ready to not get his hopes up, because he's getting an opportunity to say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm a goofball, I mess up, it's just the way I am, and show people that he's not just a one-trick pony, if you know what I mean. And somebody said Kevin Owens, by the way. Somebody thinks Kevin Owens gonna go there. That's a hard one right now.
Yeah, Kevin Owens is signed within the last year or so. I think he signed like a 10-year deal. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, unless he becomes incredibly discontent and they let him out of his contract. But no, he's Kevin Owens is locked down for at least a good between 5 to 10 years. So.
The first question, well, not first question, but the first superstar from WE to jump ship, who would it be for you? Who would you want to jump ship?
Well, I know there's people that are unhappy. Um, I gotta think that I mean, so far between All In, the event that happened this last summer, and the press conference recently, we've seen a good variety of people associated with the company, either at All In and or already signed to AEW. They need they need tag teams. So I would say I'd say the Revival right off the bat. In fact, the Revival just tried to copyright something related. I didn't hear exactly what they tried to copyright, but they tried to copyright something related to their name. Not necessarily the Revival, but something.
Uh, Somebody wants Drew McIntyre. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be his friend Dolph Ziggler. The only reason why I think the only reason why I think that Jaybone is, I think he's a little bit not happy that he's being pushed to the top right now, and I feel like they're pushing Drew, so Drew has got a lot for him right now. Yeah, the zigzag
Right.
man.
Yeah, yeah. You could probably throw what the hell's that guy's name? Tyler. Not Tyler. Zack Ryder.
Zack Ryder. Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably throw him in that boat too, as far as another WWE guy.
But he's also lately got onto the last week's Raw. I think that was the first Raw he was on.
In a year, probably.
Yeah, in a year. Apart from that, I also think that we might actually see. Some people are thinking that a former superstar called Ryback will be in All Elite Wrestling. What do you think about that one?
I saw that name. Ronnie said Hulk Hogan. Let me tell you something, brother. Hulk Hogan's never showed up in AEW, brother. Ryback. Yeah, he's part of the indie scene, and he was a big name in the well, he was more of a mid card name. He got a bit of a push. He showed up on someone's list. Who was it? I think Ryan Staten of the Pro Wrestling Sheet, that website.
I think it was that.
I didn't see his whole list, but I saw his podcast that came up within the last couple days, and they were talking about a list that he had put out. I'm guessing it was on the site. But Ryback, I know he had a lot of fans out there. I mean, I was a fan of his too. I started buying into the whole "Feed Me More." The crowd loved him. I mean, more. Yeah, he was a fun. It was simple. He was a big beefy meathead guy.
You know what he reminds me of? You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of TNA's Brian Cage right now. The same similar build.
Size-wise, yes. Talent, though, Brian Cage destroys Ryback. Ryback is... I put Ryback up there with Enzo Amore as far as talent. He's not real talented. I'm not going to say he's horrible, not in the same league. I mean, Brian Cage right now is doing stuff that no big guy has ever done in the last few decades that I've seen big guys wrestle.
He takes a lot of chances.
Yeah, he's doing lucha libre stuff that guys a third of his size are known for, like Rey Mysterio
Crazy.
for prime example. Yeah,
Uh,
it's ridiculous.
talking about Impact superstars, which superstars, if there is going to be a working relationship with All Elite Wrestling, would you be interested in seeing in All Elite Wrestling?
Oh, first pick. I know that the Young Bucks had a match with LAX on the Jericho Cruise, the Rock and Rage or whatever, and there was an event that was put on Fight TV, but they only showed matches from one night. They didn't show matches from the entire multi-day event with all the bands and all the different wrestling things going on over the course of like 3 or 4 days, whatever it was. One of those was LAX versus Young Bucks. I gotta tell you, man, I would put that under a dream match.
That is definitely a dream match. Somebody in the chat wants Rich Swann. I would personally want that guy in the company. But
hell yeah, he's the X Division champion right now, so why not? He's the top of his crew.
Talking about X, I can't even speak right now. DJ Z. That's another name I think they should go for. If they want a cruiserweight division, he would be just amazing for them.
Oh, and he's a free agent. In fact, another free agent who was just recently, well, I don't know if he was let out of his contract or if his contract was just done, was Trevor Lee. Trevor Lee announced a couple nights ago that he's, and this is unique because most guys do like a farewell talk and they know where it's like, oh, okay, you're leaving the indies. We know you're going someplace significant like NXT or the WWE. He straight up said he's going to the WWE. So there's no mystery about it. But I would have loved to have seen someone like Trevor Lee get brought in.
See, I would, if I was All Elite, I would have kind of went and quickly make a phone call and try and convince him, but I think it's too late now. I think he's actually signed with the WE. I'm not quite sure. You can tell me if he's signed or not, if you know. I think he is, but I'm not quite sure. But that would be nice.
He said he's not he said he's not a free agent anymore, so I'm sure he's at least gone into the preliminary stages of signing on the dotted line, going through his physical and all that kind of stuff before he actually walks into the performance center doors. But yeah, back to DJZ. I know he's spent the last several years with TNA / Impact Wrestling. He's done time down in Mexico, almost died down there, but has done some phenomenal things down there. He was a tag team champion with Andrew Everett for a cup of coffee in Impact Wrestling. I would love to see him in AEW. Apparently he's DJing at some Bullet Club rally. I'm guessing that's coming up. I don't know if that's going to be surrounding the G1 Super Show coming up in a few months. I don't know.
So it wouldn't be available to after that. That's if he doesn't sign any kind of permanent deal with, I'm guessing, New Japan and Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a hell of a signing for those two. I mean, he's very talented.
He's the kind of guy you would want on your card. Oops.
Yeah. Cheers.
I burped a little bit.
Oh, trust
Excuse
me,
me.
my fans who know me know I do that all the time. I'm famously unpolitically correct, so it's all good,
Oh,
man.
I'm sorry, people in the chat. I'm sorry. Uh, I think he definitely needs to be pushed big time. I would have put a uh, like the biggest title on him. Not yet, but I would love to see him as like a world champion just for like a few months, just to like give that guy a hey, you worked your butt off kind of pat on the back. It would be for him. I don't think he should go to the Vince company, I like to call it now.
Vince's company.
I don't think he should go there because I don't think he's going to get pushed, and I think they've got so many talents similar to him right now, and he would just kind of get lost in the shuffle. But for All Elite Wrestling, he definitely should be there. Like, it's a no-brainer, if you agree with me.
I would think, and I'm sure those guys are keeping an eye on the indie scene as far as who's available, and everyone that they're talking to, guys like MJF and Joey Janela, and they've got a direct link to people that they've wrestled with because they trust those guys who they're bringing into their company. Anybody associated with who worked at All In, I'm sure they've got an open door saying, "Hey, we'd love to have you." It's going to be interesting if they bring in someone like like on Busted Open Radio, Tommy Dreamer was talking about a conversation he had with Cody and the Young Bucks, and
That'd be good. Tommy Dreamer.
He's offering his talents. I mean, honestly, I think as far as wrestling time, I think it's really limited as far as how much time he's left in the ring. Yeah. I wouldn't expect them to throw him out there and say, okay, well, you're going to have a match with Kenny Omega and he's going to, he's going to kick your head off. They're not going to do anything like that to him. But if they choose to bring him in for anything official, I would think it'd be as a backstage role, similar to how Impact Wrestling is using him. But I don't think he's exclusive to anyone right now. He's working with MLW.
He should do something like, if they have like an hardcore division, I think he should come in there to be the first person to hand over the hardcore title to the first person to win the hardcore match for the hardcore title. If that's what they wanted to do, I think they're going to do that, because that'd be interesting to see that. Having an hardcore title.
Could be. I mean, I know they want to be different. I know they want to stand apart from what WWE is doing. They don't want to be just a cookie cutter of,
That's why I think they're going to try and promote different kind of divisions, like Mexican division. That's why they also signed a bunch of guys from a company. I forget the company's name. For China.
Or OWE.
Yeah, that's the company.
Let me look it up real quick.
It sounds like it's a good way to go and to say, hey, we've got different styles, come and watch us.
Well, and they've got a roster to build, so they're gonna. I don't think they want to. Like Tony Khan said in X-Pac's interview, he doesn't want to absorb anyone's specific roster or anything. He's not gonna buy a company and be like, I want all your guys. Tony Khan doesn't want to do that.
No, he don't want to kill the wrestling scene.
Well, no, I mean he wants to do something original, which, hey, I mean he's got $1 billion to play with. He could do anything he wants. He could take the easy way out and say buy a company like Impact. He doesn't want to do that, So he pretty much poo-pooed that whole, rumor game, whatever. It's Oriental Wrestling Entertainment, OWE.
Yeah.
And I've actually got a number of their videos in my watch later list. I'm going to be checking these guys out. I watched a couple of their. Watch it. Yeah, I don't trust me. I'm going to. I've watched a few highlight videos, the real short ones, and just those right off the bat, it's like, wow. I mean, this is really different. It's not just a bunch of high flyers. There's a whole another realm of entertainment that goes along with these guys, and it looks kind of almost like a dance competition, but it's not. It's just these guys are just multi-talented. They can dance. It looks like their matches are very choreographed as far as the high flying end of it, but if you shouldn't overthink stuff like that. Take it for face value, but it looks like what these guys do is very exciting. So
it's going to be an interesting time as a wrestling fan, I think, especially seeing these guys, because I think that a bunch of people are going to be shocked because it's unique, and I'm hoping it goes well, because I like the stuff. I was kind of blown out of the water seeing it. It was refreshing to see something different, unique, and they kind of look like an anime meets wrestling meets Step Up, the film. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and it's quite
competition.
Interesting. Yeah, it's quite interesting to see that. It's a mixed bag of talent as well. There's a bunch of guys. There's a group called Hip Hop. They're very talented.
One highlight video I saw featured the Rascals. So that must have been from like a recent tour of the Orient over there. Because these guys go like, okay, for example, like Sammy Guevara, he does about 2 to 3 tours of Japan a year, and he'll spend like several weeks at a time and wrestle for a company like DDT and maybe some other smaller ones. And the only reason why I know that is because he's very transparent. He puts all that stuff in his vlog, talks about it's like a road diaries vlog.
Yeah.
So yeah, seeing that the Rascals are I should say, or were part of this, they brought them in for a show, is actually really exciting to see. So if these guys are good enough to work with guys like that, hey, what's also going to be interesting is to see if it's an automatic tie-in to a company like Dragon Gate, because Pac showed up at the rally last week with his championship. That's the Dragon Gate Championship.
Yep. And you think having another company's belt on your TV stream could be damaging, but I don't think it would be for All Elite, because like before when they had the NWA title, it was a focus point for people to talk about, and I think that's what they need. They need focus points where, oh, did you remember they're having the Dragon belt there, and Pac versus Hangman, and oh my god, that was sick. Like, something like that. That's what I believe, and I think if it's done right, I think it's going to be good for both companies. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Especially for something that's something a little unique. I'll tell you what, man, it gives it a feel similar to what, and obviously not that I'm wishing the success of AEW to end up like WCW. Okay, I'm going to say that right off the bat. But to the compliment of the company back then, 20 years ago, when WCW did bring in talent from the independent scene worldwide.
Yeah.
They brought in guys from Mexico like Psychosis, Conan, Mysterio, guys like
Yeah.
that, Hoovy, and featured them in their cruiserweight division, and they just set that show on fire. That's one of the reasons I love that show so much back then. I didn't give a rat's ass what WWF was doing back then.
They need to partnership with AAA, and they should try a partnership with Impact, because that would open the doors with AAA. My big concern is not All Elite Wrestling. I think if Ring of Honor and New Japan don't work with All Elite Wrestling, I feel like it's going to bite them in the back eventually, because I think some of the big names was the Young Bucks, Cody, and most of the Elite kind of big names, and they kind of did a lot for them companies. Just to not work with them would be kind of stupid. Somebody in the chat said, "Is All Elite Wrestling the new WCW?" Ooh, that's a good question. What do you think?
And that's the thing. There has not been a company backed by this kind of money that's been this, I'll say, for lack of better words, aggressive. Like Ted Turner was back in the day, and trying to bring in talent. I mean, the situation with WCW is because whatever station they were on at the time the people that took over the company and that ended up owning WCW didn't give a crap about wrestling on TV. That was a number one problem. Tony Khan's got to find a channel that says, "Hey, we've got something unique and special coming. We think there's money in wrestling again. Who wants some of it?" And it could be TBS again or TNT, who have had history with wrestling. Obviously, times have changed a lot now. The companies have changed. TV has changed. It's, the entire realm of entertainment between wrestling and how people watch it has changed drastically over the last 20 years.
I think TNT should be a good place, because I feel like Ted Turner and his company would kind of want to apologize to the fans, because I feel like they messed up. They messed up WCW to a point, and they messed up their company, and they kind of lost a lot of people. And they kind of, I'm kind of surprised that what they did kind of killed that company. It was sad to see what they did to themselves, and I think if they could get All Elite on board and do something good, I think he is retired, but I think he's still kind of the person whose name is tied to the company. I'm not quite sure, but like I was trying to say, I think that company owes the wrestling fans a big apology. That's my personal feelings. I don't know what your feelings are, but I think.
Well, I think times have changed so much. I mean, whoever was running things back then, I don't think have anything to do with entertainment and television anymore. You got a completely different scheme of people running TV stations. That's all gone by the wayside. And those kind of people back then didn't give two craps about. Honestly, they just wanted to make money, and
Yeah,
and
it was all for the
wrestling,
money.
if wrestling wasn't making them money, they're not going to apologize. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, that's the people that want it on TV again. We're going to find out soon enough. You know.
yeah. It will be a big, massive.
Oh man.
Oh
Ronnie
no!
says, "What do you think?
Oh no!
What do you think about Russo booking for
I saw that.
AEW?"
I saw that. I was like, oh god, god. If Vince Russo came to the Impact, look at him in Impact, see what he did with Impact. It's a no-no.
Russo's done positive things over the years. He's done negative things over the years.
Yeah.
I know when they were about to invite him in for StarCast last year to be a part of StarCast and All In, he had his foot in the door, and then someone informed the Bucks and especially Cody, who they were putting the events together, on some I don't even know what it was specifically, so I'm not going to quote him. That would be unfair. He was accused of saying some controversial things, and they immediately shut the door on Russo and uninvited him right off. So I don't think he would have a chance of even making a phone call saying, "Hey, I'm offering my services." I don't think they would be interested in this. Like, they got to be real careful about who they bring in for consulting, booking concepts. You know.
The person in the chat said, Rinso created the Attitude Era, right? I can't remember. I think he had some kind of...
I don't know who... I know when the NWO started, that's when WWE woke up and they started, forming stuff like Stone Cold, DX, and all that stuff started popping up, which then created the Monday Night Wars. I don't know exactly who started what when, and I couldn't tell you. I don't know who was, writing for who at that time. I don't know who Russo was working for. I don't know who was doing all the main booking.
Russo jumped over to WCW.
I know he became a main character on TV, and a very hated one too at that. I remember that. Oh my god.
He was a hit. I think when he showed up, I think he was booed out the arena, like literally booed to death.
I think I remember him showing up in like a hockey helmet because he was like afraid of people throwing stuff at him. I don't
know. goofy. What do you call it? Wrestling back then. Yeah, he was the champion of WCW. I think he wrote that to put the belt on him himself, and I think that was a stupid storyline. He's made some good decisions and bad decisions. Personally, I would want him to keep away from All Elite Wrestling. I don't know how you would feel.
Yeah, I'm not up for him having. I mean, there's plenty of other people that'd be great for as far as because they're going to be hiring consultants and writers and bookers and all sorts of stuff. Excuse me. I know they just hired Billy Gunn for.
That's interesting. That feels like a big punch towards the WWE's face, like, because Billy Gunn had a big backstage role in the WWE. I think
he was working down in NXT. I'm pretty sure he was one of their coaches down there for a while, but he was doing some side stuff that had to do with bodybuilding, and so he was taking some kind of
oh, God,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily illegal substances, but
yeah, I think he was doing something. I think he was like failed a drug test, and
yeah, that could be. So he was taking some kind of bodybuilding substance.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I think I heard.
Something like that.
There's a goofball in the chat saying, "So I don't want to see Vince as the champion." No thanks. Vince Russo, your first ever All Elite Wrestling heavyweight champion. No. We're not having that. We're not having that, brother.
You'd see Pac walk out of another company with that. Ronnie, you're goofy. I love you, man. Thanks for coming over here and checking stuff out. You're hilarious.
Oh shoot!
He's one of my regulars. So yeah.
I'm gonna wake up in the morning going, I've had a weird dream. I'll be like, I've had some weird dream that Vince Russo came in and won every single title, even the women's title. I'm like, no, leave me alone, no.
Way to have a company implode instantly.
Eva Marie, I would love to see that wrestler. I don't think that would be a person they would sign.
No, I wouldn't want her. I mean, is she attractive and beautiful? Absolutely. I don't want to see her anywhere near. Honestly, no.
I'll grab Bailey any day, though. Bailey, that will be one of the superstars I would try and get.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some. I mean, women in the WWE who are considered some of the top girls like her that are probably. I'm sure some of them are discontent in their, spot in the company. I'm sure some are just cruising along and don't care. But I tell you what, AEW is shaking things up, talking about equal pay, and you could see within the next couple of years, you could see some significant people leave if they're not happy with their pay.
Yeah,
Vince is going to have to start writing, getting his checkbook out.
Personally, I think Vince needs to step down immediately, let Triple H take control, because I think if they want to compete and stamp out All Elite Wrestling, they need to do something. They need to start putting the matches on. And technically, I wasn't impressed with the Raw and SmackDown what passed. I think they need to do something, otherwise they're gonna lose fans. They definitely will lose yeah, Vince won't step down. He's awkward, isn't he?
The guy is gonna die in gorilla position. It's I'm sure at some point he's going to, but I mean, whether he steps down from his position, he's always going to be involved somehow, some way. We know this. He's never going to truly walk away from wrestling. I mean, his kids are still in it. The only way he's going to is if something tremendous happens, like there's the rumor floating around over a couple of years, something like Disney buying the WWE, something like that. That's the only way you're going to see him completely walk away from his company. That's the only way.
Let's say in 20 years' time, the WWE is on its leg, and All Elite Wrestling is as big as WCW was back in the 90s. And they're running things. What do you think will happen to the WWE? Do you think they will go out of business, or do you think Triple H will set up his NXT as a main show and get rid of SmackDown and Raw? Do you think that could happen in 20 years?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, wrestling's changed so much over the last couple of years, as far as, people going from this company to that company, this company. I don't know. The face, like I said, I think over the course of this last year, we're starting to enter another boom period. Tony Khan is quoted as saying he thinks we're starting another golden era, with as much money as getting pumped into wrestling now. I think they're certainly going to put people on their toes. People like Vince McMahon, you can't just cruise along in neutral and not think about anybody else. He's going to have to buckle down and really work hard to keep those fans, because
especially now, especially with the fans looking for something different. To keep the fans, you've got to improve the content quickly, and I think they've left it too late. Personally, I think they left that company too late. They kind of left it to sit on the shelf, and I think it's way gone past its date, and I think it's about to expire big time. Stink up the place.
That's why I don't watch anymore.
it's sad to see a company what's been in the game so many years implode on itself. But I feel like it's going to implode on itself, and I feel like...
Well, I don't think the WWE is. I mean, what's funny is that there's like so many different degrees of fandom out there. I mean, there's guys like you and me who are like legit trying to just discuss the possibilities of the future, and then there's people out there that are saying, "Oh, WWE is dead." No, you can't say that's just silly talk. I don't think WWE is going to put themselves out of business. Are they certainly, in need of some more viewers from what they're used to? Absolutely. But I don't think they're going to go out of business anytime soon.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Somebody I saw in one of the comments sections of some podcast, some guy's like, I guarantee you that the WWE is going to work with All Elite Wrestling, and they're going to team up together and kill companies like Ring of Honor and New Japan. And that's what I saw in a comment. I can't remember. What do you think of the possibility it could just be a ploy for them two companies to basically team up to kill these other companies? Do you think that's going to happen?
No, because of where Cody and the Young Bucks just came from. They realize they have been given a very unique opportunity. They went out there at All In and tried to do this on their own. Now, granted, yes, they had some help. They had some help from New Japan. They had some help from Impact. They had some help from Ring of Honor as far as production and help, and they were able to bring in wrestlers that were under contract to those other companies, and they were generous enough to do that. Even though they're smaller, independent, or bigger / smaller independent companies. That being said, they know where their bread was buttered. They know who gave them the chance to have the success that they do currently have right now. There is no way that they would be given this opportunity to want to put someone else out of business. Tony Khan looked at the climate of wrestling and he said, hey, now is the time to get into the wrestling industry. I've got the moolah to do it. I've got a crap ton of free agents who are free this year. Let's make a difference. Let's do something different. Something different in the world of professional wrestling. Let's do something special. And that's what's going on right now. They're not going into this to put anyone out of business. They're trying to do something different, but they're certainly not going to look at New Japan or look at Ring of Honor and be like, we're going to kill you guys. No, that's not what they want to do.
No.
Tony's up for partnerships. He wants to see this whole wrestling thing grow. He doesn't want to kill it off. That would be ridiculous,
Yeah. Just before we go, if you could say anything to the Young Bucks and Cody right now to encourage them, what would you say to them?
To encourage them?
Yeah.
I would say, hey, you've got the backing of someone to give you all the support in the world as far as the ability to make things happen financially. I would tell them, with that being said, I would say, take your time with this, even though you've got the financial stability to do some really ridiculously powerful things in the world of professional wrestling now. I would tell them to make sure you take enough time and not do things too quickly, because it can get tempting to, oh my God, we can do all this, and then snap your fingers and then it's done. Look at what they've done already. I mean, they've set up a new date. They've got the MGM Grand booked. They had an absolutely ridiculous amount of pyro that they used at the
pyro
rally.
is back. The pyro is back.
Oh, exactly. It's like just looking at the fireworks that got set off on the top of the stadium.
If that's not a statement to the WWE, then what is?
I think it is a little bit. I think there were a couple little shots taken, but it's just the fact that
bang bang. Quote me fully.
Yeah, right. Bang bang. They want to show the world that they are going to be different, and what better way to do it than light a bunch of pyro off and smoke and lasers? Hell yeah, man! I mean, that's part of the show. That's missing from pro wrestling. You can't just shoot that stuff off. Well, we're gonna explode the stadium one time a year. No. Bring it back, period.
I think Vince is so out of touch with wrestling. I think he thinks he's still living in the 80s, the 90s. I think he still thinks Hulk Hogan can still go. That's why he brought him back. But
well, he's been running on neutral for the last 20 years. He hasn't had any serious competition.
Yeah.
He's just running his, perfect example is he does his own, well, I don't have any competition. What am I going to do? Oh, I'll do Raw versus SmackDown for the last 10 years. That's his competition. He creates two shows and puts them against each other.
I'm going to put the big guy up front, you see, and then we're going to make him lose the title to Cena, and then Cena's going to drop it back to him and do the same again at the next WrestleMania. What do you think about that?
How many years in a row are you going to... which has been a
we're gonna do it every year, and the fans are just going to think that I've seen it before.
and you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, damn it. And you're gonna bring your kids, and they're gonna love it too, damn it.
And I don't think we don't want to see repeats of repeats. It's ridiculous to see it these days. We want something fresh and unique, and that's as wrestling fans, we don't mind to see the same match maybe once in a blue moon, like because people do get older, do change, and it does seem to like look different, and people do like to compare previous matches, and I'm not knocking it, but I think it's been done so much by the WWE. They kind of killed people's passion sometimes with that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, they've had fans go away by the droves lately over the course of the last few years because they're tired of the same old stuff. It's like, how many times are you gonna do the 3 versus 3, the same women, this bunch of girls against this bunch of girls for the umpteenth time on Raw, on SmackDown? It's ridiculous. It's like, you guys gotta shake. They're like, oh, we're gonna shake stuff up. Oh, you brought back Hulk Hogan. That ain't shaking shit up. That ain't doing. That's bringing back someone from 30, 40 years ago. That ain't shaking stuff up.
I think we should leave it on that, and let the fans debate that. Till next time, I was your host, Ultra Willie, and our special guest, Jaybone. Thanks for joining us, and you've got anything to say before we leave?
Oh, I appreciate you bringing me on. I'm very thankful for being a guest. I'm very excited that you decided to start a new YouTube channel that's associated with the fan Discord of AEW, and it's going to be fun watching this company grow. You know what they're doing with it over the course of the next year.
I want to do a weekly show where when their show has gone live the following day, we can react to it, like see what other people in the Discord think of certain matches, and rate the matches. It would just be nice to maybe get you on quite a bit because it's been fun. And I hope you've enjoyed your night tonight.
Oh yeah. I love having intelligent discussions about professional wrestling, whether it be a company that's growing like this, or another company like Impact or MLW that's doing
the topic we should do next. Impact. We should talk about Impact next. So we'll do that sometime next week.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever you want to talk some stuff, you could have me on, or I'll have you. We'll talk some wrestling.
Okay, guys, hit the like button and don't forget to sub. Have a wonderful evening or day, whatever time it is, and it's real. Damn it, it's damn real.